This is Zach,
This is Noah.
and this is Zach and Noah.
Take on the World, a podcast about one thing.
Everything. Welcome to the very first episode of Zach and Noah Take on the World. I'm Zach Horner,
I'm Noah Grant.
and we're here. We're doing this.
Why start a podcast, you ask? That's
Very
a great
good
question.
Very good question.
I really don't know. We got a lot of thoughts, and not a lot of people to tell them to.
Yeah, we text each other about stuff, and really mostly about stuff we don't tell our significant others, my wife and your girlfriend. So we're just looking for an outlet to talk about it, and this is what you do in the 21st century.
It is. And what better time with well, we're going to touch on the coronavirus,
Yeah.
obviously, but a lot of people have more free time now. It's definitely a serious situation, but I mean, I'm working from home. I'm not going to tell you my job, but I'm working from home. It's actually mandatory, so I mean, and a lot of people are in this situation
Yeah.
now. So what's a better use of time than making a podcast?
Yeah, definitely. And I think, one of the things we'll talk a lot about on this podcast is sports, and the sports world is having to deal with a lot of changes and major unprecedented things regarding the coronavirus. You got the NCAA tournament, men's and women's canceled. You've got pretty much every major sports league in America saying we're not going to do anything for a while. Still waiting on WWE to cancel WrestleMania, but I'm pretty sure that's not going to happen.
We shall see.
We shall
It is
see.
the intersection of wanting to do the right thing, but also money. And money always rules. Money rules all.
And we could say a lot about Vince McMahon, and that's kind of how he rolls. But
Hey, the XFL did cancel that.
they did, which I was kind of surprised. But we'll see. But
Alright.
in the meantime, we figured that we'd bring y'all some sports content. So we'll, over the course of this podcast, we'll talk about kind of 3 or 4 main things. Kind of the plan right now is on a cycle. So we'll talk about sports. We'll talk about kind of music, movies, TV shows, and kind of pop culture, hobby collecting nerdness, I guess. I don't know if there's really
I like that. That is a perfect term.
Yeah, I don't know if there's an overall term to describe it, but as we get into this, the next few episodes, you'll learn a little bit more about us, what we like, what we text each other about and chat about when we hang out, and so yeah. Are you ready to get into the first thing we'll do?
I am.
On this.
I am. Would you like to tell them what it is?
Definitely.
Alright.
So we, sports people especially, we love lists like best or favorite or worst or, best name. Like best name in sports. I always love those lists.
Mm-hmm.
But we're gonna start off with our top favorite athletes of all time. The list of 5 each, and we'll start at the bottom at number 5. Actually, I'm going to start with my honorable mention.
Oh, okay.
Because
All right.
I believe we do have those. This was really hard for me because I ended up leaving out. I could have made a whole other list of top 5 and could compete pretty well with my top 5 I ended up with. Was it hard for you?
It was, but I'm definitely more of a sports fan. Well, less of a sports fan. Well, I still love sports,
Yeah.
but I'm not as into it as I was as a kid. So these people, it was kind of easy. It was the people that meant the most to me and still follow me in my
Yeah.
life somehow.
Yeah, I don't know if it's about getting older or just that you get less attached to players and people, or just the people now aren't as interesting. I don't know.
I think it's a few things. I think a lot of it is you get busy and you
Yeah.
live a life, but also when you're younger, these people are all older than you. And do you really just want to watch these kids just play sports? I don't know. It's definitely it's weird.
It's really funny. I was watching a Carolina Hurricanes game a few weeks ago. It was a couple months ago. At some point in the past, and there's a kid on the team named Andrei Svechnikov. Kid's like 19, and he's tearing it up.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, man, what was I doing when I was 19? I think that's probably part of it, is you start to feel bad about yourself and your lack of skill and all that. So it's, It's messy, but yeah, I'm excited to dive into this list. You want to start off with your honorable mention?
All right, I will. All right, so honorable mention: Grady Sizemore, former outfielder. Can I speak? Cleveland Indians. I was not a big baseball fan. Still, really not. Go Braves every now and then. I will watch a game here and there.
Yeah.
But there was just something. Could not tell you why I liked him. Could not tell you what it was about him. He does not play anymore. But I remember I had the jersey shirt.
Oh yeah, I remember the jersey shirts. They still exist.
They do. No ice jerseys. I still got a jersey. That's for people that can't afford jerseys.
That's right.
And
That's
still
right.
want to represent. So that's all
That's
I've ever
right.
had. But yeah, so I'm not sure what he's doing with his life right now. So you're doing research right now.
Yeah,
Should have done more research.
I'm pulling up
probably.
Wikipedia. In 2017, the Indians hired him as an advisor to the team's player
Well,
development
you could tell we did our
department.
research. But yeah, I remember he went to the Red Sox a little bit, tried to revive his career, but could not tell you what I liked about him. He was very much known for making wonderful catches in the outfield, and I think it kind of just goes back to Sports Center Top 10. You know,
Yeah, just one of those
we
things.
live for
where-
that. You would wake up in the morning. I remember I would wake up in the mornings right before going to school, and that would be on. Right before I would hit the car to get going to class, they would show the top 10, and he'd be on there a lot.
Yeah,
He made it exciting. He made a 3.5 hour game with very much not action, just no action at all, hardly. He made it exciting, and I just connected with that. That's probably why I didn't make my top 5, because I'm just not a huge baseball fan, but he's in there. Now for you, sir, who is your honorable
Well,
mention?
real quick on Grady, I want to make a comment. So playing center field, you get a lot of chances for those highlight reel catches. You know, think a guy like Jim Edmonds. There's another guy, Andrew Jones, for the Braves. You get those opportunities. But man, I mean, he won 2 Gold Glove awards. So, you know, you
May or may not have used steroids, but I'm not going to say anything.
yeah,
Maybe that's
okay.
why his body broke down.
Very possible. Very possible. But also a 3-time All-Star, Silver Slugger in 2008. He had a 3.85 GPA in high school. Did not go to college. He got accepted at. He was going to play at University of Washington.
Interesting. The more you know.
The more you know. All right, we could probably talk about Grady Sizemore for a while. My honorable mention is a little out of left field. I left a lot of people off this list. A couple examples: Jeremy Lin, Javi Lopez from the Braves. So I do have a baseball guy in my list, but my honorable mention is Kobe Bryant. And, you know, this is something I've been thinking about for the last couple of years, even before, obviously, his tragic death a little while ago. But I don't know. I think just something about the way he carried himself, particularly after he retired and during the last couple seasons, I really liked, and I was really kind of admired. Obviously, he's had his legal troubles, or not his legal troubles, just with his marriage and all that. But really seemed to kind of, at least in the public eye, you know, became someone to be respected, and you obviously saw that in the aftermath of his death. Also, set up a franchise mode with the Hornets on 2K16, and I did fantasy draft. He was like my 2nd round pick or something, and tore it up. It was like it was going to be his last season or something like that, but he tore it up. It was Kemba Walker and Kobe Bryant in the backcourt.
Beautiful.
Still have not finished that season because when I play video games, I don't like to simulate games. So I'm
Oh, you're playing all 82.
Playing all 82.
You're playing all 82.
I think
Unlike
I'm-
this year, it's NBA.
yeah. I think I'm like 65 games, 70 games in maybe.
It's dedication.
So I'm getting close, but that's been like since 2016. So, but anyways, that's Kobe's my my honorable mention.
All right.
We'll go ahead and rotate, kind of like I do 2, you do 2.
Okay,
And go
I'm
that.
cool with
Obviously,
it,
we
I'm cool
play
with
those. Number 5, going on the baseball theme, Ichiro Suzuki. I was about to say from the Seattle Mariners, but late in his career, kind of went to a couple other teams. But
Miami Marlins, I believe.
Miami Marlins, played for the Yankees for a little bit. I mean, the man was just so fast, and the way his at bats and his kind of his batting stance and how he swung. I really liked it. I didn't watch a ton of baseball, but I don't know. And he wore number 51, and he had his first name on his jersey. So, I mean, there's a lot to like about Ichiro. Looking at his major league statistics, 311 batting average, almost 3,100 hits, 500 stolen bases. There's a lot to like. There's a lot to like about old Ichiro.
Little known fact. when I was in college, I took a Japanese pop culture class. We had to do a final project on a famous Japanese person. And I love sports, and I was like, I don't know many Japanese people. But Ichiro Suzuki, I know him. I did it on him. Fun fact, I know you wanted to know that.
I really didn't.
So I wanted to drop that
I really
tidbit
didn't
in
know
there.
that. When I was younger, I got a little. You remember like Beanie Babies?
Oh yeah.
I got like a bear, but it was like an Ichiro bear. It was like half like the Mariners teal and half white, and had the like his number in blue, and it was pretty cool. For that time, I was like, that's pretty sweet.
I'm gonna tell you one thing I remember from that project is that he has his own museum just dedicated to him in Japan.
Yeah.
I believe. Not many people get their own museum, but it's just his museum.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
That is a big deal.
In Japan and here, he's still a big deal.
That's right. I mean, we could literally just, and maybe we should do this sometime, just pick a random person and comment on their Wikipedia Wikipedia page, and just be like, all right, so this a random one. Ichiro's father handled his finances early in his career.
I believe it.
And there's like a whole paragraph on that. But anyways, we get stuck in that for a while. So we're going to go ahead and move on to your number 5.
All right.
And your number 4.
All right, well, this might be a little controversial, depending on how you, what do you say is sport and what's not sport. We're going to get into a little sports entertainment here. Number 5, none other than WWE superstar and legend, I would say, Jeff Hardy.
Jeff Hardy.
Let's take it back to about early 2000s. Noah Grant in the living room of his grandparents' house. It's a Monday night. My grandmother's just pulled out hot chicken wings. My grandpa and I were waiting, and we're ready for Monday Night Raw to start. Chicken wing in hand. Jeff Hardy's on the TV, sacrificing his body for our entertainment. How can you not love a man who, and I forget what event it is, would jump off a ladder, flip onto his back, onto another man, through a table? I mean, I know you say, obviously it's scripted. We know this now.
Right.
But it's real.
It's
dangerous. They do more things that could get them hurt than other sports. It's more physical than most sports, to be honest.
And we'll probably do a WWE episode at some point because, I've had brief flirtations with WWE fandom in the last 5 years. Obviously, Noah's had it in his life for a while, and on and off fandom, we still kind of pay attention. But yeah, I mean, that's one of the first things that I noticed when I actually started watching. I was like, yeah, this is scripted, but they're real. Like, this is real pain, real athletic ability. And obviously, Jeff Hardy actually from Cameron, North Carolina, which is about 30 minutes from where we're recording this episode. So that too. But yeah, so part of the Hardy Boys. And I remember hearing, oh, there's the Hardy Boys, like the books. Like, I read those books all the time, but this is very different.
And when I see that shows the early difference between me and you. When you hear Hardy Boys, I'm like, what? Jeff and Matt? Obviously. Not much books. We will probably not do a book podcast.
Probably, maybe. We'll see. I'm like, no, Frank and Joe Hardy, right? the teen boy detectives or whatever.
Yeah, so. Obviously, like some people, like we mentioned Kobe, they can be slightly problematic. He has had his run-in and his issues with drugs and alcohol, but I don't think that takes away. It just shows we're all human. Our heroes can be human, but he's still wrestling to this day. Actually, just Googling, he's wrestling tonight. Coming back to SmackDown tonight.
That's right.
Which I don't know if it should be canceled by now.
We already
a lot of up close and personal contact and a lot of fans. But yeah, and for my number 4, none other than Canadian superstar, Canadian basketball legend, Steve Nash.
Steve Nash. I mean, who doesn't like
Does
Steve
anybody
Nash?
not like Steve Nash? That is the question.
That is the real question. Now, he is a Tottenham fan, which I'll get into in a little bit because I have 2 Arsenal players on my list. But we're going to forgive that because, 1, he's from Canada. Of course. And I like people from Canada. And 2, he was just amazing as a player. Continue.
Did you know that Stephen John Nash was born in Johannesburg, South Africa?
That's amazing. I did not know that. See, this is what's great about Google is you can just pull stuff up in Wikipedia and be like, oh, right, he was born in South Africa.
His son's middle name is Sun. S-U-N.
It'd
be much better if it was S-O-N.
It would be really great.
But as for why I liked him, not sure, to be honest. Phoenix Suns were very fun back then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Steve Nash, Amari Stoudemire, Boris Diaw, Raja Bell, Leandro Barbosa. Just a lot of good people, and he just always seemed like a good person.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's always appealing for a lot of people when you see someone who's like doesn't really get in trouble, doesn't do. And to be frank, like in the NBA, where there's a lot of examples of that. You think about the NBA and the NFL, where there's a lot of examples of people who not the greatest persons. Maybe they were good athletes, but but Steve Nash was different. He seemed like a real solid dude.
Yeah, definitely had a Steve Nash jersey growing up. That Phoenix number 13. He's the reason I wore 13 in sports. I wasn't very good, but church league, dominate. Intramurals, dominated. Rec league in high school, dominated. And by dominated, I mean scored like 3 points every now and then, like every other game or so. But yeah, so Steve Nash, definitely probably my favorite basketball player of all time. Not much more to say about that.
Yeah, just looking at his charity work in 2006, he was named by Time as one of the 100 most influential people in the world. There's a lot to like.
Love soccer.
He does love soccer, but he's a Tottenham fan, and that's where we're going to transition to my number 4, which is Carl Jenkinson.
I know who that is. Sure.
Yeah, definitely.
I know who that is.
So Carl Jenkinson is a right back soccer player, basically like right defenseman. And if you don't know a ton about soccer, the way defense usually works is you got a left back who's on the left side, 2 center backs in the middle, right back on the right side. Pretty simple. But anyways, he was a right back for Arsenal Football Club, which is my favorite soccer team, based in London, England. And when I became a fan, he was one of my favorite players, and there was another guy who's going to be my number 2. We'll get there. But someone who worked really hard, was not a star, but you follow him on social media, watch videos that the teams put together, real funny, real laid back. And he had been an Arsenal fan like growing up his whole life. And I remember seeing a picture one time, I think it was that year, of they went to his house where he grew up, to his room, and there were just Arsenal stuff everywhere. And now he's playing for Arsenal. And in the final game of the 2013-14 season, which was the season I became a fan, he scored against Norwich City, and he went crazy. He was so pumped. And Arsenal fans still talk about that moment, because you see someone who has, you get excited about a team, or you're a fan of a team for a long time, and then you actually get to play for it. Like, that's the dream. And this is a guy living out his dream and is so excited about it, and that's always fun. That's always fun to watch.
Any comments from the Wikipedia page? I feel like for years I should be doing the Wikipedia page. I mean, I should probably learn some about this man.
He has a Finnish-Swedish mother. His father is English and his mother is
a fish.
A fish candy. Finnish and Swedish. That's right.
That's a joke. That's what we call a joke, guys. That's the kind of content you're going to get on here.
That's right.
Carl Jenkinson. Wrong person, right? No, is this the same guy? 28 years old?
Same guy. Yeah.
Playing for Nottingham Forest now.
He plays for Nottingham Forest.
All right.
So, yeah, he plays for
Nottingham
Forest.
For some reason, I thought he was an old man. I don't know why.
Carl? I mean, maybe. Yeah, it's kind of an older name. Yep. Carl Jenkinson played, currently plays for Nottingham Forest in the second tier of English football. So, I mean, other than the fact that he was a huge Arsenal fan and then, got to play for Arsenal, not that stellar a career. Pretty solid every time he came in, but not in the high skill world of English football. He had his moments, but wasn't what you would want. So, all right, number 3 for me, another very similar kind of athlete as far as scrappy, energetic, not necessarily the most skilled. I'm talking about Chad LaRose, formerly of the Carolina Hurricanes hockey team. Wore number 59, and he was a rookie the year the Hurricanes won the Stanley Cup in 2006. Played on the 4th line, like the last line, played on penalty kill. Real energetic guy, hardworking, tough nose, kind of short, but, really, for me at least, I just liked watching him play. there's those guys where, we talked about who are not necessarily the greatest, most skilled, but you just like watching them play because they play hard every time. And he was that guy for me. Out of Fraser, Michigan. Looks like he hasn't played hockey since February 2017. But
For the Orlando Solar Bears.
For the Orlando
What a
Solar
name.
Bears. That's right. In the ECHL.
What a logo.
Yeah. Look, if you get a chance, look up the Orlando Solar Bears logo. It's pretty awesome. Not gonna lie.
This is good radio right now.
I know.
Just this wonderful logo you were looking at right now.
Just look at all of it.
Just a bear and a sun and a hockey stick. What more can you ask
With
for?
sunglasses.
Out of a logo? With sunglasses.
I mean, it's the bear with sunglasses. That's really what you want. So, all right. Well, that was my number 3, and I just gave Logan. We have a friend named Logan, and long story. Anyways, Noah and Logan. It's like those 2-syllable names. I feel like
I've been called Logan before.
I feel like that's not the first time I've called you that before.
No, I get it. I definitely got it.
It's that low, no.
I see it.
Anyways.
Logan, Noah, same thing.
Basically the same thing.
All right.
I want to hear your number 3.
My number 3. Then we're going to get into a defining characteristic about me, pretty much. I feel like everybody really needs to know it.
Yeah.
I'm a huge University of Michigan fan. Couldn't tell you why. Well, I can tell you why. Origin story is I was 5 and I like their helmets.
Which,
Simple.
to be fair,
They got a good helmet.
they're pretty cool helmets.
It's a great helmet.
As far as helmets go, it's pretty good.
And the amazing blue, wonderful color scheme. But we'll start off with football. Because they weren't very good at basketball when I was younger. Didn't get into it too much. But none other than Denard Shoelace Robinson himself.
Shoelace.
We hadn't had a good quarterback in a while. One of my honorable mentions I didn't put in here was Chad Henne. Wonderful quarterback, probably one of my favorites of all time. We had the likes of Tate Forcier, Stephen Threet, Nick Sheridan, and I know you probably don't know their names, and that tells you how good our quarterback play was for a while. But I remember, I'm not sure what year it was. You could probably look it up for me on Wikipedia. But I remember they were playing Western Michigan. He got in for his first play. And it was a broken play. But he took it maybe 40 or 50 yards to the house just running. I've never seen a player that dynamic in a while. Was he the best passer? Probably not. Did you pray every time he threw it deep that maybe it was accurate and not underthrown? Yes, but he could either throw an interception or score a touchdown on like any play. And just exciting players, It's just, you just live for it. You had the dreads and then not tying his shoes. Also, we talk about it, just a very nice person. He just always had a smile on his face. Always went about things the right way. Team first. And also, maybe the best fact about him, the last cover athlete of NCAA football before it was discontinued.
That's a big
2014. You had to vote for it. It was voted.
Yeah.
And that just shows you the passion of Michigan fans. I definitely voted.
Yeah.
Definitely, that was probably my most sought after game. Not just because it was the last game, but also I had to have him on the cover. That was my boy Denard. Went on to have slight success in the NFL. He played for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Played running back. Had him on my fantasy team back in the day for a little bit. He had a few 100-yard games here and there. Yeah, not too much. I'm not sure what he's doing right now. I think he was in the Alliance of American Football last year, but I don't think he's playing right now. I'm not sure what he's doing, but yeah, it's my number 3.
I like it. Lots. I'm looking at his Wikipedia page. There's a lot you could go for. Yeah, I mean you could talk about the cover vote and how he beat out Eddie Lacy, Jarvis Jones, Tyler Eifert, Ryan Swope, name we haven't heard in a while.
Is that Texas A&M?
That's right.
Wide receiver,
That's
yeah.
right. But I want to key in on the fact that he ran track and field his freshman year at Michigan, and he won the 60-meter dash in his college track debut in the duel against the Ohio State University.
I love it.
I mean, that's what you want out of a Michigan guy, is to beat Ohio State head-to-head in something, and he did.
He was the quarterback the last time we beat him in football. Maybe that's why I have such fond memories.
That's very possible, but and I'm also going to pull back a sec and look at Michigan Wolverines starting quarterbacks. You got Shea Patterson right now.
He was decent.
Michael Peters. John O'Corn, Robert Spate,
Well, Wilton Spate.
Wilton Spate.
Awful.
Jacob Rudock,
He played 1 year. He was decent.
Tate Forcier. I remember.
I liked
that.
him. Liked him a lot. I think there's 3 Forcier brothers, and they all transferred from their schools. That's what we call loyalty. Hashtag loyal.
Hashtag loyal.
Hashtag these bros ain't loyal.
That's
What
right.
we say.
That's right.
Right.
Ryan
Little
Mallett.
known fact: he played his first year or two at Michigan. That transferred. He did. He did indeed.
I saw that. I was like, what? Really?
But yeah, Chad Henne was probably like the last good one, and then it just kind of went downhill until Shea. Shea was pretty good, and Denard were pretty good, and we have Dylan McCaffrey coming in now. We can talk about current sports later, but yeah, Christian McCaffrey's brother, obviously.
Well, I mean, and you've got a pretty decent history. You know, Tom Brady, obviously. You know, went to Michigan, was a quarterback.
Yeah, but that Nick Sheridan, Stephen 3 dark period of 2008, I don't want to. I think that's when we went 3-9.
Yeah.
With Rich Rodriguez. Makes sense.
Rich.
But on to number 2, enough about Denard.
Yeah.
We'll get to Michigan with my number 1. We'll get back to it. But shows our diversity. You know, we've talked about, 3 or 4 sports so far?
Yeah.
I think we hit football, basketball, soccer, and hockey.
And WWE.
And well, this is our sixth sport right now. Mixed martial arts. Definitely not as big of a fan as I was. But Jake Ellenberger, the juggernaut.
The juggernaut.
From Omaha, Nebraska, I believe. Maybe not Omaha. I know he's from Nebraska. Tried to get him onto this podcast.
We did.
We did. I've definitely... he did answer my tweet. He does follow me on Twitter. Shameless plug. He does follow me. But what can I say about Jake Ellenberger? I think it was 2009, I want to say. Freshman or sophomore in high school. Just getting into the sport. I stumble on Facebook, another man who went to my high school in North Carolina was posting about it. Not a lot of people post about it, right? Post about MMA. I think it's become more mainstream now,
No,
definitely. But back in the day, you just had Brock. That was pretty big. And
Brock Lesnar, by the
Yeah,
way.
Brock Lesnar.
If people don't know.
You don't know who
I mean,
Brock
I knew who
Lesnar
you were
is.
talking about, but just in case you
Brock
don't know.
Lesnar. And yeah, so I friended him on Facebook, and we somehow had a class together, and we're best friends to this day. I was the best man in his wedding, but we became friends through the sport. He loved a dude named Jake Shields, and I love a guy named Jake Ellenberger, and they fought not too long after we became friends. I think that's kind of why he was like one of my first favorite fighters, and he won that fight, and I remember we had a $3 bet. And he gave it to me in a Ziploc bag. Don't know why he gave me the $3 in a Ziploc bag. But Jake Ellenberger won. And yeah, he's definitely had a sporadic career. But I've never been one to front run. Never liked the best teams. Never liked the best players. And he was just a guy who always went out there and just swung for the fences. Very exciting. Seemed like a decent guy too. I know we go back to this. But he just seemed like a decent man. He was kind enough to respond to me every now and then, I guess. Maybe not follow through on coming on the podcast or getting me free tickets when I was poor
Yeah.
and did not want to pay for tickets. I ended up paying for tickets. Have seen him in person once.
No.
Most nervous I've ever been in my life. You're very nervous watching your favorite sports team, can you?
Oh, yeah,
can
no
you?
question.
But
That's why I don't watch Arsenal anymore.
definitely in a sport where you can see one of your favorite people just get knocked unconscious and severely hurt, it's happened to him multiple times where he's been knocked unconscious. But that night he faced Matt Brown, and he was getting blasted, and I was so nervous. We actually saw somebody famous in front of us in the lead up to the fight, a fighter that me and my best friend knew, and I was just zoned him out because I was so nervous. My legs were shaking. I couldn't focus on anything. But he won. He kicked him in the liver. I've never been so excited in my life. I was probably wearing my Jake Ellenberger shirt that my friend did get me. And yeah, if you look at the Wikipedia, I think he lost, what is that? That looks like 9 out of his last 11 fights.
Yeah.
But I saw his last win live, so I can
That's
say
right.
that.
Yeah. His last win, July 30th, 2016 in Atlanta.
I lost to George Masvidal after that. I don't really count that one. He got his foot stuck in the cage. It was really weird. It got wedged between the mat and the cage, and he couldn't move.
Yeah. So yeah, you're going to get punched to...
And then Mike Perry, that was depressing. I don't want to talk about that. But yeah, I love the sport. just very exciting. He was either kill or be killed is kind of what he went out there.
Yeah.
He never fought tentative, even when he was suffering. You see a lot of his losses near the end of his career were knockouts. Earlier in the career it wasn't, but I guess you just get older and the body just goes. But yeah, Jake, if you're listening, I still love you, man.
Yeah.
Wish you the best in whatever he's doing right now. Not sure. I don't think he's fighting anymore, which I would not advise. He's had a lot of concussions. Yeah.
No. Sometime we need to talk about the difference between UFC and Bellator and all that, because I don't totally understand it. And we're going to make everybody else understand it too.
Well, MMA is a sport, just as like football is a sport, and the NFL is
like
a
a
promotion
league.
and a league.
Yeah.
Just like the XFL or the AAF is, and the same thing. UFC's the main one, obviously.
Right.
But yeah. And Jake's also fought in Bellator.
He did. He had one fight.
He did. But
He
yeah.
we went Division II for college. At Nebraska, Omaha. Respect. So, all right. So are we down to my number 2 and number 1?
Getting down to
So,
it.
as with Noah, you talked earlier about having Steve Nash's jersey. My 1 through 4, I have had their jerseys. Number 2, Olivier Giroud, from formerly of Arsenal Football Club, currently plays for Chelsea Football Club across town on the other side of London. He is, first of all, he's a good-looking man. That's not the reason that I like him as a fan, but
Hey, give respect where respect's due.
yeah, you gotta give respect. This man is a World Cup winner in 2018 with France. He one of the top scorers in Arsenal's history, but I think he was a guy that was not very fast, but he could jump, good header of the ball, excellent striker when he had the opportunity, but he scored a lot of goals. And I, that was that first year I was a soccer fan, and the guy who plays really well is like, all right, I like him because he's playing really well. And that was why I liked him, because he continued to be a good player throughout his Arsenal career, but his playing time kind of went away. We signed a couple of new strikers, and so he had less playing time. So he went to Chelsea. But yeah, just a guy that seemed like a good guy, for the most part, and it was just fun to watch for a guy like me who's tall and not necessarily the most mobile. You root for those guys.
Yeah.
You root for those guys. We were just playing NBA 2K20, and Duncan Robinson, who may or may not show up on a list later in this podcast, he's on our team, and he was very slow. And that reminded me of Olivier Giroud.
D-Rob.
Yeah, but yeah. So Olivier Giroud, my number 2 guy. He's played for France a lot. World Cup winner in 2018. He was actually in the French dub of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I heard this, but I forgot about it. In the French dub of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, that was the animated one. He was the voice of the Green Goblin. I don't think there was a lot of lines there, but still pretty solid. 419 games, 159 goals in league play. Pretty solid return, 39 goals and 97 national team appearances on a pretty stacked France team. So pretty solid. All right, I guess we're getting down to number 1 now. My number 1 favorite athlete of all time is Ron Francis. Now, kind of sounds like an older dude name, and it is. He is currently, he's got to be in his 50s. He's 57 right now. He was a hockey player for the Hurricanes, and he had kind of 2 stages to his career. The first stage, when he was younger, he played for the Hartford Whalers, which is the predecessor to the Hurricanes, and then hopped over to the Pittsburgh Penguins, where he won 2 Stanley Cups. And then in '99, I believe, he came over back to the Hurricanes, but then they were in Raleigh, North Carolina. Real solid dude. He won, I think it was twice. Won 3 times, actually. Won the Lady Byng Trophy, which was given to the player deemed to be the most gentlemanly, but was also just a really solid hockey player. Real good at kind of assists and playmaking, passing, that kind of thing. And I actually got to meet him a few times, and this is when I was a kid, maybe 9, 10, 11. And, at that age, you have a favorite athlete that's like their heroes. Mm-hmm. We talked about this earlier with, just not being as big of fans as guys now because, there's that, like, oh, they're my age. Like, it's not that big a deal. Really they retired his jersey. He was number 10. I loved the number 10 for a long time. And then after I turned 10, it became less appealing. Yeah. And I changed to number 21, which is actually his former number. Mm-hmm. When he came to the Hurricanes the second time, somebody else was wearing 10, and so he wore number 21. So that's my favorite number now. He is currently actually the general manager of the Seattle franchise in the NHL that is going to start play next year. So he was the general manager for the Hurricanes for a while. Not great at that, but it's good to remember that Wayne Gretzky, the greatest hockey player of all time, was not a great coach. So it's really interesting how those greats of sports transition into coaching or general managing, and that's a whole. We're kind of with all these. We could talk about that for like the most interesting transitions from athletes.
If you're listening, please listen to us. We have so much we want to talk about. Please, we're probably going to talk about it anyway, but just listen, man.
Yeah. But Ron Francis, Hockey Hall of Fame, first year on the ballot in 2007. Big respect to my boy, Ron. That's my number one.
I guess it's the moment we all been waiting for, correct?
Pretty much.
Number one, none other than Nick Stauskas.
Nick Stauskas. On the whole different trajectory from Ron Francis, Hall of Famer, good guy.
Is Ron Francis Canadian?
Yeah. He is Canadian.
Is he really?
He's really Canadian.
Well, it's not off the spectrum then.
It's not that far. Other than that.
Mississauga, Ontario's own Nicholas Tomas Stauskas. Let me tell you a little bit about this man. I love Nick Stauskas so much. It's when we got good at basketball. It's when we got good at basketball.
For that very brief time.
No, we're still good. We made it to 2 national championships. Lost them both, but we don't talk about that.
Oh,
might have won it this year, but
we'll have to talk at some point about being in Buffalo Wild Wings against Villanova.
Let's not talk about that right now.
Okay.
Louisville might have been worse. Last time I cried over a sporting event is when we lost to Louisville. I was in high school. I don't want to talk about it. Okay, but Nick Stauskas. I love a man that can shoot threes. When I played, that's all I could do. And when he started out in Michigan, that's all he could do. Seemed like a nice enough dude. Go back to that again. Not nice enough to return my messages. Also tried to get him on the podcast. He did, and we'll get into it. He did do something that made me a little bit happy recently. But, he's just, I don't know, wonderful athlete. When we lost Trey Burke, when we lost Tim Hardaway Jr. and those guys, he stepped up. I think he won Big Ten Player of the Year, I believe, at some point. So Conference Player of the Year. Never really turned out in the NBA like I wanted him to. Played for the Kings, 76ers, Trailblazers, Cavaliers. Went over to Spain, I believe, and played for Baskonia, I believe. He's rehabbing from injury right now, so he's not playing. Wants to get back to the NBA, but I don't know. Just really enjoyed him. Fun fact, I think the best fun fact about Nick Stauskas is that his nickname is Sauce Castillo. And
Sauce Castillo.
And why is his nickname Sauce Castillo, you ask? In his rookie year, he played in a game, and there was just a mess up on, the closed captioning. And the dude said Nick Stauskas. And somehow it went to Sauce Castillo. I don't know how that translates, but I'm so glad it did. And you know what this man did with that? He took it and ran with it. He ran with that name. He made his own hot sauce, because what do? You get a sauce brand. Did I have that hot sauce? Yes. I ordered it online. Still might be at my house at home.
It must not have been that good.
No, it was delicious. It was delicious. But it had his name on the front, and it had his number. Number 11 on that. It probably changed, but I do have a Michigan jersey with number 11 on it. Wore it the night of his draft when I watched it with 2 of my buddies back home. He But another fun fact, I think he went off for maybe his career high in LeBron's first game as LA Laker, and they beat LeBron, the Trailblazers did. He didn't do anything the rest of the season and never contributed to the NBA after that. But yeah, there we go. Career high tie in 24 points and a win over the Los Angeles Lakers. Season opener. But yeah, we'll get to probably our hobbies more into it later, but I do collect trading cards.
Mm-hmm.
And I have plenty of autographs of that man. And I love that man. And I just recently got a new card, posted it, and he liked it. And it made my soul happy. He doesn't respond to my messages, come on the pod, but he liked it. So that's that.
Well, our plan is that this podcast becomes big enough that people can't say no, and
They can say no right now.
we'll just see. Yeah, we'll just see how that goes. But I remember this now because I remember seeing this. So this man was on the Trailblazers on February 3rd, 2019. The next day, traded to the Cavaliers. 3 days later,
I do remember this.
traded to the Rockets. Then hours later on that day, traded to the Pacers. And then the next day, waived by the Pacers. 3 days later, back on the Cavaliers. So, other names in those trades, Wade Baldwin IV,
Vanderbilt great.
Rodney Hood, Duke legend, or successful. I don't know how you clarify Duke legend, not Rodney Hood.
No.
Marty Lunin,
I know who that is. They're not.
formerly played for Oregon, currently plays for
Baloney.
Fortitudo Bologna.
Baloney. He plays for Baloney.
In Italy. So that's our top fives.
Right.
I'm going to run mine back down one more time. Number 1, Carolina Hurricanes great Ron Francis. Number 2, Olivier Giroux. Number 3, Chad LaRose. Number 4, Carl Jenkinson. And number 5, Ichiro.
All right. And you just heard about number 1, Nick Stauskas. Number 2, Jake the Juggernaut Ellenberger. Number 3, Denard Shoelace Robinson. Number 4, Steve Nash. Number 5, Jeff Hardy.
I'm going to make one more comment on your list, and
Yes.
on more about one player on your list.
Yes.
It annoys me a lot when pros are like, "Oh, this quarterback is maybe a little too short. We should turn him into a running back or wide
Yeah.
receiver." I'm like, why? Like they're not like they've gained skills. I think about Armani Edwards for App State.
Carolina Panthers legend.
That's right, Carolina Panthers legend. Like, these people who, like, I just don't understand why you do that. They've trained their whole lives to be a certain skill position. They're like, no, I'm just going to switch into another one. Cause
Yeah.
I'm tall. Like, Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray.
Lamar Jackson. Everybody was saying he should be a tight end or a wide
It's
receiver,
just-
running back.
I mean, he probably...
MVP.
And he probably would be good at those, to be fair.
That's a,
But-
MVP at quarterback's pretty
Yeah,
good.
but yeah, so it's like I just don't understand why they do that. I've never gotten that. I think we're gonna close out this episode of the podcast. We're running about 45 minutes, which is
We hope to be about half an hour to 45 minutes. That's good.
So I think we're gonna move out with song recommendations.
We do love our music, and that's kind of how we had texted and had worked together before, but that's kind of how when we started talking more after we weren't working together anymore, kind of just sending song recommendations all the time.
I've got about 75% of my Spotify that Noah recommended either the artist or a song.
And the other 25%, who knows? I probably like most of it.
Yeah, I think there's definitely some differences, and we'll get to that later in another episode.
Screamo.
Yeah, I'm
Dance
not.
Gavin Dance.
I'm
What's
not
up?
not really big
DGD.
into screamo. And I don't know what I like that you don't.
Do you even have a song recommendation?
I do have a song recommendation actually.
What is it?
So again, based off a recommendation Noah sent, it's called oh gosh, I forgot what it's called now. Always Almost by Jordy Searcy. I love singer-songwriter types, especially guys who can play the acoustic guitar really well, and real good solid songwriting. Check it out on Spotify. Always/Almost is the name of the song. By Jordy, Jordy, like Jordy Nelson. Searcy, Searcy.
All right. And I was going to go singer-songwriter, slow, but since you went with that, I want to give the people a little different. An Australian pop-punk band named Stand Atlantic. The song is Sidewinder.
Sidewinder.
It is a wonderful song. I don't know what else to say about it, but during the taping of this podcast, my significant other, my lovely girlfriend, sent me a screenshot that she bought me tickets to their concert.
Nice.
In July. Hopefully coronavirus has died down then. We know we joke around and do say things, but if you are affected by coronavirus, just stay safe. We wish the best to all your loved ones, and it is definitely a scary time. Step away from social media if you need to. If you read in too much, you will get scared, and it's definitely something to be worried about.
Yeah, no question.
But yeah, just take a break. Listen to our podcast.
Yeah, we hope that if you're listening to this, that you find some enjoyment out of it. And another recommendation: follow us on Instagram. It's Zach Noah Takes. Just those
ZACHNOAH takes TAKES.
That's right. That's where you'll find updates on what we're seeing, what we like, when the podcast is coming out.
Poorly made graphics, maybe.
Pretty much poorly made graphics, yeah. So go check it out. Follow us there, and we'll be keeping things updated. You can also follow us on our personal interest Instagram accounts. Not really at the point where I'm going to say, hey, go follow my personal Instagram. But if you follow Funko Pop Zach, FUNKOPOPZACH, just kind of a new thing I just started where I post about Funko Pops that I see, get. Just snagged one today on an eBay auction for $1.25. So feeling pretty good right now.
All right, and then mine is UM, as in University of Michigan, card collector. So UM card collector. Pictures of trading cards if you want to look at pieces of cardboard or whatever it's made out of. But yeah, hey, got a decent following so far. Hopefully some of you came from my account. I tried to get a few followers by doing a giveaway. I guess I have to do that giveaway now. But yeah, check it out, and we hope you listen to us again. We could definitely get better.
We could definitely get better.
Nobody was great their first time around
right.
at a podcasting. But yeah, so this has been Zach and Noah Takes on the World. We hope you enjoyed, and have a great weekend.
See ya.